if the lights. The lights, what they're gonna, it's gonna come up with.
This coach was out in 2 years.
Worked for Danny Green, and if you know the Charlie, I coached my whole life. I love that is easy home. I'm sure people. Some go, you know what? That's what we are used to. I'm not really sure what it makes a lot of from Bluntstown a few weeks ago as the coach. I came off. I'm not a offensive line, and again, like Sheldon said, I may need a job after this. And I created too. We talked at length away, and I fought, guys, and I fought our coaches. I came up with this idea. I got to FHSA in August, and my supervisor's name. We got to come up with a plan to fix them. They told me the districts came out, and the preliminary districts came out in December or January or whatever, and you look at it, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm not in the district of North Marion anymore. And then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, I'm back in the district with it. So all that's done by a human in our office. So as a coach, I always wanted, we all had ideas about how we want things to look, and then I always said, you know what, it'd be cool if we could take the champion, and then we could take wild cards based on that, because as a 7-3 football, some of those other teams that made the playoffs in other parts of our state. That's where that idea was born, just honestly. We have a huge problem with the discrepancy of talent, if you've never coached at a smaller school, with some of the talent on our football teams in those classifications and our smaller classifications. Okay? And that's not a popular thing to say. It's not, because we're men, and we like to chest up, and we want to put our hands in the dirt, and I just told y'all a minute ago that I'm going to run belly until you stop it. So, I mean, back in the day when I was at Florida High, and we were at NFC, and Coach Coakley had some great players, and we'd match, I remember Coach Detter and myself, we were in college coaching together against North Florida Christian, and we always said, why are people griping about this private school with all these great players? Let's just buck up and play. And we did that. That's been my mentality the whole time. Now, when I went to Trinity Catholic, I started thinking a little bit differently. When we went and played, we were in a district with some teams that weren't very tough. And you could look at the schedule, some of you guys, and go, we're going to win that one, we're going to win that one, and we're going to win that one. You could coach not a lick the whole week, and you could go win those games. You and I know it. It's not popular to say, but we could. There's a big talent gap. Those schools did not want to play us. Quite honestly, we did not want to play them. What's happened to a lot of our smaller schools is they've decided to go independent, where they can create their own schedule. They don't want to go and play the teams that have 15 Division I athletes. That's not what's best for their program, they don't feel. But they also want their kids to have the opportunity to play in the playoffs or have a chance to get in the playoffs. And you can't do both. You're either going to go in that district where, again, I go back to arbitrarily someone sits in a room and writes down names on a piece of paper, school names, and says, y'all are playing these people. So I walked in our office and I started talking to some people in our office. And you come up with new ideas, people think you're kind of crazy. And I said, why don't we just get rid of districts? Well, why do we have them anyway? He was like, we can't do that. We've always had districts. Craig's like, you're crazy. I'm at North Marion. I can't find 10 games. I said, well, think about it. There's 500 other schools. This is at the time we were just talking. This is a long time ago, almost a year. Craig said, well, I said, there's 500 other schools looking for 10 games. You can find 10 games. I said, hell, Craig, I'm going to play because it's a big gate. He said, yeah, that's true. I said, Vanguard's going to play because that's a big gate. There's 2 games right there, right? So we started talking, and I said, well, I don't know, as a coach, guy, wing T guy, now remember, I'm a 50 guy and a wing T guy. Didn't change. That's what I did. We were a 2-gap, hands on, you ran up the field as a defensive lineman, you're coming off. You don't play for me. So I'm an old school guy now. Like, this was way outside of my box. So I kind of thought, we're never going to do that, So then as we get into it, Justin Harrison says, Frank, we got to come up with a way to figure out how we can level the playing field a little bit, because those aren't popular words either, with our smaller classifications, to maybe get some of those 70 independent schools, 73, back into the FHSA state series. I said, okay, I got the answer right now. Get rid of districts. The one common theme that every one of them say is, Frank, I don't mind if I have a good football team and we have to roll the dice to go play those guys in the playoffs, but I don't want to subject my kids to playing those teams twice in a 2-year span. So we're going to go over here and do this. All right? I understand. Because remember, I coached at that 3A school, and I knew what that looked like. All right? So I came up with some ideas. And it took a long time to get off the ground. Several people in our office, including some of our leadership, were like, whoa, 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 I'm an old dog. What are you doing? So I'm going to go through this. Some of you agree with it. Some of you don't agree with it. Many of you I've talked to at length about it. Some of you I have not. I will stay here and talk about this for as long as you want. I can tell you it's not perfect. I can tell you that I've had some great ideas just this morning on how we can make this better. I just left eating lunch with 2 of my best friends in the world, and they gave me some good ideas and some good insight on maybe how we can get this done. I'd also like to say that we at the FHSA have been very, very, very open and honest and transparent about this issue. Okay? I don't have to stand up here and do this. Okay? I mean, really, we could just push it through and make it happen and, go on about our business, and y'all would be like, well, they're crazy and they don't know what they're doing. They just sit up there in that office and make decisions like I used to think. I'm here for you guys. I want to do what y'all do. I didn't dream up this stuff by myself. When people contact me and say, you know what, that's a good idea. That would work for our school. And then you send out surveys, and you get back overwhelming results that say, you know, that's a good idea. Right? And you kind of go, okay, all right, I'm not as dumb as I thought. Anyways, so we had this really catchy idea to come up with this name for our deal. I've always wanted to do this. In Alabama, they call theirs a Super 8 or Super 7. So we had a little contest, and our media and fans, they came over Drive to December. So for all you Twitter guys, when you see hashtag DTD, that's what that means, Drive to December. And a lot of the kids have caught on, and they like it too. So we're in a social media age that you try and keep up with the times. Our PR guy made this picture and stuff. I don't know how the hell to do that. I don't have a clue. All right, I'm not going to spend much time. This, Coach, that's your kids right there. Coach Jordan, I put them up there for you. You're welcome. I went through this PowerPoint with our board of directors this past week. Got some great feedback, positive and negative. And you have to explain to our board of directors sometimes how things are structured, because I have to remember that they make decisions for every sport. So some of this is elementary and some of it's not. We have 476 schools right now that compete in the state state series, which is 8 classes. We're not going to 9 classes like all the other sports. We're not. I did a lot of research to put this together because there's nothing out there that says list these conferences. Josh does a good job with Florida high school football of listing them. There's 73 independent schools in the state of Florida. What's interesting to me is there's only 6 of them are actually independent. They belong to a conference where they choose to play those other schools that best fits their program and athletes. That's a good way to put it. I thought that was interesting. I coached in 5A and 6A and 3A and had no idea this existed before I got here. Some of you guys may not either. You all know this, our districts, how they're set up, champion and runner-up, automatic bid to the playoffs, independence, create your own schedule, no state series. I put this up here for our board of directors to get an idea of what Region 1 Class 4A look like. What Walton, they went 9-1, finished 3-0. Rutherford finished 2-8. Had a 2-1 record in the district. Made the playoffs. Rains, Bowles, there they are. West Nassau 7-3. Sitting at the hill. All right, this is kind of a heat. I can add a couple things on here, but I didn't do it. Current positive, guaranteed regular season district games. I know when you put me in a district, I know who I'm going to play. I know what I got to do. As some people told me, I also know who's going to come out of the district sometimes. We could probably right now sit down and look at the districts and predict what some of the playoff matchups right now will be next November. The biggest current positive is what we know. We're comfortable with it. We run belly a lot. We feel good about it. We know it's going to work. If it's 4th and 1, I'm running belly. If it's 3rd and 10, I'm running belly too. That was funny, guys. Another positive to me, and I didn't put this up here, of our current system is it gives kids something to play for. District champions. A lot of people don't want to see that go away because they like that trophy. My one argument against that is the same people win the district championship every year. So it's pretty cool for those schools, but it's not cool for everybody else. Some negatives. There may be less, there may be more. Some of these you may not think is a negative. Some of you did. Hey, Coach Coe. Safety issues, which I alluded to earlier with our smaller classifications. If you've ever had the opportunity to coach at some of those places, you know what I'm talking about. 16 teams made the 2015 playoffs with a losing record. 35 teams missed the 2015 playoffs with a winning record. That's pretty telling also. This is the part I hate this right here. I don't know about you guys as coaches. Week 11 kind of stinks. What do? If I'm going to make the playoffs, do I sit my guys? Do I play them? I don't want them to get hurt. Then I'm playing a school that's not in the playoffs. And one year, week 11, we decided I have a kid right now that won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos this past year. Played at the University of Florida. He's with the Green Bay Packers now. Week 11, we were out of the playoffs because we finished 6-4 and didn't get in. And we decided to, we came up with this coverage where we can get everybody covered. And I told them to line up 6 yards behind the ball and just go do whatever you want. Week 11, who cares? It's kind of like Coach calls defense at South Sudbury. Little excitement in week 11, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel. District's not even due to travel. And I know you guys are like, well, hell, y'all, you do that. First, we do create the districts. There's so much more that goes into it than what you guys think as far as looking at a map and going, well, this team, if they go here, then there's a time change, so it's going to affect what they do on Thursday night. And then this guy, athletic director over here, came up with this idea, and he thinks it's best. And there's so much more that goes into creating a district, and we try to do the best we can based on travel. It's not always good. I've heard 100 times since I've taken this job, do you guys on a map? I think we do have a map. More and more independence. I'm telling you guys, our independent number is going to grow quickly. Some of you do that is not bad. Some of you do that is okay. I don't know. We did this when I got back into the office after our state championship games. We sat down in the boardroom one day with Robbie Linden and myself. We looked at this. Over 50% of our games were a 21-point differential. I strongly feel like there's a lot that goes into that, as opposed to creating a seeding system. The seeding system will help if we seed the playoffs, some of that. But there's a lot of other issues. And I'm going to stop right there when I say issues, because the issues that you all know, there's an elephant in the room. You know, the transfers, the power programs, this and that. I can tell you that we as an organization have a long-term vision on how we want to fix some of these issues with regards to some powerhouse programs and what that's going to look like in a few years. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you what is being, what's going to happen or how. I don't know yet exactly. Okay? But I can tell you we are progressive and we are coming up with ideas to fix some of our issues. Because the bottom line, guys, football is a physical sport. I understand that. I'm a belly guy. But we got to do something to protect our players, because if we don't, our game's going to die. Everyone says I'm telling you right now, it's not going to survive much longer at our level. We love watching college football and NFL and all that, but we are losing more and more student athletes because their parents don't want them to play. We got a call, I'm not making this up, from a state legislature that said, why does my son who plays at this school have to go play this school? I'm worried about my son's safety. Legit. If you'd have known the two schools, you'd have been like, yeah, I don't blame you. You might not want to put them out there. Right? But they were in the same district. Is that where this idea came from? No. That came after the state championship games, and the guy was like, well, we all going to do something about this. Well, I don't know. At that point, we hadn't made any decision. Anyways, over 50% of the game for a 21-point difference. I didn't introduce our guys before, I'm sorry. Craig Davis right here. Y'all know him, most of them. Robbie Linden, stand up. Robbie's over. How many of you guys are wrestling guys? Any guys wrestling guys? No? We don't have any wrestling guys? Robbie just got our board of directors to pass the dual state tournament, which is huge for us. We were really excited about it. We're going to actually go back to doing more duels in wrestling. We're going to have a dual state champion, right? It's where, what is the first weight class? 109 pounds? 101. Weightlifting is 101. Yeah, it's like when two guys get on the mat and they wrestle to get points. Whoever wins and goes back, right? It's pretty cool. I'm excited about it because I get tired of watching those IBT tournaments, where there's like 40 mats out there. I want to see two dudes get in the middle like gladiator. So we came up with goals for a new system. Allow schools to create a schedule that best fits their athletes and school goals. Number 2, create a more exciting and competitive playoff format for our players, fans, coaches, and schools by using a seeding system. How will things be more exciting? I don't know about you guys if y'all were coaching when we had wild cards. I don't even remember how you got a wild card or what that looked like. But I remember I was at Lake City, Columbia, and we were fortunate enough to be a district champion. And we had to play that wild card. And I remember one of the coolest things was us sitting around with all our coaches after practice one night trying to figure out who the wild card was going to be, who we were going to play. It created excitement, created some buzz. In my humble opinion, some of the things that we do right now are dormant. We know after week 10 who we're going to play. With the seeding system, you wouldn't know. You may think you have it figured out, which is going to be fun in itself. But we have to create some excitement for our kids. We all know kids want things right now. And if we're not keeping their attention, then we're losing. Things are moving faster. We got to move with them. And if we don't, we're going to die. Create a system that rewards the best teams with the playoff bid by taking into account their entire season body of work. Yeah, I got that from Lindsay, the body of work. Right? What happens week 1, I feel like should be as important what happens week 10. Right now, basically, we have 3 preseason games. Week 4, kickoff class. I don't know about y'all, when I coached, that's how I treated them. I wanted to win them. But I needed to find out who my players were about week 4. Going back to this, creating a seeding system, and what kind of excitement. The preliminary plan, guys, is to release, and you'll see how the point system, we can do this later. Release week 5. Where you sit, what your points look like then. And then we'll release week 11, the Saturday of week 11, where you sit, what the final matchups would be. And how we release it is we met with Bright House Sports Network, our partner. Everybody can get Bright House Sports Network on their computer. Seeding show with your kids. There'll be a lot of happy kids, there'll be some sad. But it creates a system that's exciting. We sent out a survey to every school that plays football in the state of Florida, and we asked them 3 questions. Would you like to see a system where we eliminate districts, teams control their own schedule, playoffs will be seeded based on a point system? Holy crap, you'd have thought I'd taken their second-born child and threw them in the water. And they were 1 and couldn't swim. Right? What do you mean eliminate districts? Can't do that. Keep districts, take the district champion as automatic playoff qualifier, and then take the next best in that region as wild cards. Seed the playoffs. The third was keep the current structure. What do they say? 70% of our members who voted, and we had over right at 600 votes, want a new playoff format and move away from our current system. Pretty overwhelming. Class 1A through 4A, 6% of them either wanted to eliminate districts or keep districts and seed the playoff. Class 5A through 8A, 70% of them either wanted to eliminate or districts or keep the districts and seed the playoffs. So it's pretty obvious that we want to change to something different. What that change is? Proposed. This is all proposed. Nothing's been decided. Class 1A through 4A. Over 50% of the folks who voted in this voted to get rid of districts. We want to eliminate districts. Want no district required contests due to safety issues and desire to choose a schedule that best fits their athletes. Because I've fielded this question 100 times. Why are we doing different than 1A and 4A? It's different, guys. Y'all know it and I know it. Class 5A through 8A want to maintain district structure, but overwhelmingly want a wild card to seed for the playoffs. 70%. What will Class 1A through 4A look like? No region schedule required. Schools would control their own schedule. 4 regions in each class. 4 per region make the playoffs. 8-game minimum to earn a playoff spot. concerned about a schedule, you can move up to class 5A or 8A and we'll put you in a district. You and I both know, you and all of us both know, there are probably 8 to 10 schools that are in class 1A through 4A that will choose to do that. And I had a great question from one of our board of directors who said, well, what does that do to 5A? I say class 5A through 8. We will work with that school to place you where you fit best. Hope everybody's following what I'm saying. Create conferences within your region. Create your own district. Sit down in a room with other grown men and say, all right, we want to create districts. We're going to do this, and we're all going to pull numbers out of a hat, just like we used to, and this is going to be our district schedule, and this is how it's going to look. Some of you know Elijah Bell, and some of you don't. Elijah Bell is the head coach at Jay High School near Pensacola for a long, long, long time. Got a lot of respect for him. As a young kid, I grew up admiring him. I grew up in the Panhandle, played football there. And Elijah Bell called me and said, "What, Frank, what in the hell are you doing? What is all this? I don't understand it. What do you mean no districts? That's not what we do." And Coach, we talked for about 30 minutes, because if any of you know Coach Bell or talk to him, he likes to talk, which is fine. I said, "Coach, why can't you sit down with all your 1A rural schools?" Because he was one of the founding guys that came up with 1A rural, which I think 1A rural is awesome. And it's good for kids. I said, "Why can't you sit down with all your guys and create your own districts?" I said, "I'm not telling you you can't do that. You want more power, here it is." Because here's one of the issues, guys. Y'all want to take the stink and put it on us, which is fine. I don't mind. Okay? But then you want to gripe at us for making decisions. Now we're trying to put some power back in your hands, and you're like, what? Whoa. That doesn't make any sense to me. Y'all want power, right? But then we try to give it to you, and you're like, what? Ooh, pump the brakes, right? Anyway, you can sit down and create your own. I suggested that to Coach Palmer from Port St. Joe, and he asked me if I was going to come referee that meeting. Yeah. I didn't even suggest that to you, Coach Coe. I knew that wouldn't get very far. Not about scheduling. You did. We got a lot of districts submitted to us, and your name was on there every time. It's a big one to us. It should be to everybody else. Over 30, more than 33 is the actual number. 33 independents have said we will rejoin the state series. And a lot of guys out here, well, what about, who cares about them? Well, I do. It's my job. They have football players too. They want to build their programs as well. They want their kids to be successful as well. They would like to put their kids in an environment to have success as well. Their parents would like to see them do and play on Friday nights as well. So this is an opportunity for more kids to have success. This is Class 3A last year. Providence at 3-7 was a runner-up. They got in. 10-0 Trinity Christian. Stop. 2-8 Pensacola Catholic, runner-up, got in. 3-7 Trinity Catholic, went in as a winner. 2-8 Cardinal Mooney. You take the point system and you put it on these teams, or put it on Class 3A, and you seed it. Here's reason one. Trinity Christian was the 1 seed. Episcopal got in over 3-7. Florida High got in over 2-8. Taylor County got in at 5-5 because they played a tough schedule. Seeded out that way. Region 2. Berkeley Prep was in a 3-team district. Berkeley Prep I saw play was one of the better football teams I saw play all year. Didn't get in the playoffs over here. Over here they would. Finished 6-4. Go to Region 3. Replace the 2-8 Cardinal Mooney. The Melbourne Central Catholic, who went 5-5. That's a tough region. They got some dogs. Dudes can play football, man. One of the cool things about this, in my opinion, is number one, you won't know what the seeds are until week 11 Saturday. Number two, agree with this or not agree with this, these guys right here went 10-0. Anybody venture to guess how many playoff games they hosted this year? By far, the best 3A team in the North region, obviously. One. Not really fair. Hear that all the time. I don't only get to host one. Higher seed would host. Period. Do away with all this other stuff. You're on the bottom line, you're on the top line, you hosted last week, you're a district runner-up, get rid of all that. You're a high seed, you host. You play a tough schedule, you get rewarded for it. You win, you get rewarded for it. I don't know about y'all, but y'all should try and manage like 8 classes doing that on a Friday night when every dude in the state of Florida, including media and coaches, are calling my phone and emailing me, and Craig did it, and he was happy to hand it over to me. Huh? Your bracket's wrong. Your bracket's wrong. Who was hosting? I don't know who was hosting. I'm like, Craig, right? Well, they hosted last round, and then, well, high seed host. Right? So you get a region champion at each one of those. Here's what I like even better. This is even kind of, I think this is really good. Whoever the Region 1, Region 2, Region 3, and Region 4 champion is, you go back to their season points to figure out who's going to host the semifinal. Week 1's important. Week 1's important. Week 1 right now is not important with regards to that. (5A through 8A), 4 regions per class, 4 districts per region, 8-game minimum to earn a playoff spot. District champions would get an automatic playoff berth and seeded 1 through 4. 4 wild cards per region, all based on total season points. Then we seed them 5 through 8. So if you're a district champion, you get a 1 through 4 seed right now. I don't care if you scored 3 points the whole year. Wild cards we take after that. Question has come up several times. Why are we doing 2 different things, Frank? Why not? That fits our smaller schools. This fits our bigger schools. The smaller schools overwhelmingly said they wanted to do this. The bigger schools overwhelmingly said they wanted to do this. Yep, I know the 10-game guy. How am I going to find 10 games? I'm going to tell you some ideas that we have to help alleviate that. But it's okay to do 2 different things. Again, I didn't just dream this stuff up. Kansas has implemented this in their state. Their 2 largest classifications have gone to no districts, no region schedule required. You schedule your own 10 games for a lot of different reasons. Now, are we Kansas? Everyone said, we in Kansas. Well, I know that, right? But that's a good model to follow, okay? So 5A through 8A. And let me also say this, I can't keep jumping around. None of this is final, guys. When our athletic director, we have an athletic director advisory committee that gets together, and they're going to look at this also, and they're going to endorse it or not. And then our board of directors is going to be allowed to nitpick this and make changes if they want to. Okay? I kind of look at our job is to come up with ideas that we feel like strongly about that fix the game or help the game or progress the game forward with athletics in the state of Florida. It's their job to implement these things or vote them in. We don't do that. Okay? Ultimately, that's up to them. Here's Class 7A Region 1. There's not a lot of difference. Lincoln played a bowl schedule, had a hard time this one because Lincoln was in a 3-team district and played a bowl schedule and figured out how to find 8 games. Lincoln did. So I know a lot of guys are like, I can't find 10 games. If Lincoln can find 8 and St. Thomas Aquinas can find 7, I know they can travel a little bit. But, the only difference in these is the seeds. I can tell you if Lincoln was the winner of District 1, Lincoln, if we went to no districts with our larger classifications, they would have got in as a 6th seed. They would not have been a 4. But since we came up with this plan, even at 5-5, they would have been a 6th seed. Because they played a really tough schedule. They went and played Camden County in Georgia, played another Georgia school. But they also had they had a couple losses that weren't good. Honestly. Child got in at 5-5. Oakley did not get in at 8-2. They lost 2 district games and missed the playoffs. Arguably one of the better football teams in Class 7A, right there. Hell of a football team. Was playing good football at the end of the year. I think Buchholz beat them week 4? Yeah, Buchholz beat them week 4. You guys beat them in week 8. Yeah. Good football team. You agree? Pretty good. Got out, lost 2 district games, didn't get in. Would have got in under this system. Understand the system. You must play 8 games. And we came up with 8 because if we have a bad hurricane season or something crazy happens, we have bad weather, we felt like 8 was a good gauge. That's what they do in Nebraska. This point system was derived from Nebraska. And the funny part about this is at the FACA clinic in December or January. I was out front. You all know Justin Hansen with Huddle, right? He played football in Nebraska. And I was telling him about my idea, and we were talking, and he said, Frank, let me pull up. He said, I'm going to email you what we did in Nebraska when I played. And I was like, okay. All right, so he emailed it to me, and I started looking at it. I was like, this is really good. That's I like it. It fit. I adjusted the points a little bit to put more onus on playing a tough team. But that's where this point system is. So if y'all don't like it, go talk to him. Your teams earn points based on wins and losses, and your opponent's wins and losses. So you're going to get points for winning, and you're going to get points for losing. You're based on what your opponents do. Points, total points divided by games played. So if you play 9 games, you're not going to be affected. We take your total games played, or your total points, divided by the number of games you played. So if you played 8, and you scored 220 points, you divide by 8. If you played 10, and you scored 340, you divide by 10. Does it mess you up? There's a solution for teams trying to work the system by canceling the game at the last minute. Your schedule is final, period. Monday, week 1 of the football season. What you have turned in is what we're going with. There is I will email it to you, I didn't put all in here. There's a page and a half of all the forfeits, what happens if it rain out, what happened if it's raining and lightning, and I don't want to play, I don't want to finish this game, and Coach Cruz says, yes you are, and we can't come to an agreement, how that looks. Because y'all know we don't really have anything right now. Y'all know that? What happens if it lightens and 2 teams up and 2 guys don't really agree? What do you do? Well, if it's a district game, you go back and play it. If it's not, then you don't because it doesn't matter. So all that stuff's addressed. Everything you could think of is addressed. This is not, let's say you're worried because your opponent's only going to play 8 games. Well, is that going to hurt me with points? No, because as you'll see in a second, they're going to fall into category 1 through 4, and it's based on percentage of wins. Here's how the point system plays out. Look at the category 1 teams. So every team in here, at the end of the season, is going to fall into a category 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you're a category 1 team, that means you won 80% or more of your games. If you're a category 2 team, you won between 60 and 79% of your games. If you're a category 3 team, you won between 40 and 59% of your games. And if you're a category 4 team, you won less than 39% of your games. And then we've added out here like what some of the records look like. So you get points if you beat an 8-2 team, 10-0, whatever. If you take the points, these are huge point getters. Huge point getters. Right? I felt like it was important. Some people don't agree with me, some do. That you get as many points for losing to a great program as you do beating a not good program. So you get 35 points if you beat a sorry team. You get 35 points if you lose to a great team. If I can go back a few slides, which I don't want to touch, the best teams get in. The best teams from a record standpoint got in. All right, this has been widely discussed. First, let me say that the bonus points, none of this is final. This was purely enough. All right, I've got big shoulders. This was my idea. I came up with it. We've got to come up with a way, which I'm going to get to on the next slide, to entice some middle-of-the-road, larger schools to come down and play our smaller schools. And we've got a plan for how we're going to do that. Not even sure if this is going to stick. Right now, you get 1 point for playing a class one larger than you. You get 2 points for 2. We capped it at 4. Not sure this is the best bonus point system. As I looked at, we had 1 Class 4A school that beat 3 Class 8A schools. We had 1 Class 3A school beat an 8A semifinalist by 40. And then they tell me that they can't compete. We can't compete with their class. I've got this question a lot because a lot of our panhandle folks play out-of-state opponents. That's simple. All I do is take your schedule and I look up whatever school you're playing, whatever their enrollment is, and I plug them right into our enrollment in our classification system. So if they have 600, you fall into 3A or whatever, they'd be listed as a 3A school for us. Everyone says that, well, you just don't get bonus points. You got to win. Yeah. But the next slide is going to explain some things. It's going to help because that question's been out. Well, what about 8A schools? Right? But even I did this without the bonus points, and still the best teams got in. Anyway, these are ideas. Bonus points for playing a team ranked in the top 5 the time you play them. That's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. These are ideas. Question is, what poll do we use? There's a lot of polls out there, and a lot of polls that we're like, oh, God. Right? There are some polls out there that we all believe in, that we've all looked at for 20 years. We can't wait for it to come out on Monday. The Pinkos, right? We love that one. We love looking to see if he's going to tell us if we're going to win or lose. We all do it, right? It's a great one. My question, and I talked to Mr. Pinko. Yep, I reached out to him because this was an idea I had. How long is Mr. Pinko is going to do this? What happens if he decides tomorrow I don't want to do it anymore? We're going to go to a different poll, right? But what this would do for the guys that are like, all right, I'm a Class 1A school and I'm in a rurally challenged area geographically, and I'm really good. Why is the team down the road going to play me? Well, I know probably in my heart of hearts, if I'm coaching at that other school, I'm going to go play you because probably week 1, 2, or 3, you're at least going to be ranked in the top 5. So I'm going to get some bonus points right there. So that's enticing in itself. We've also talked about bonus points for playing a team that made the playoffs the previous cycle. Some people have said, look at their 5-year history. Some people have said, look at the last 2-year cycle. Did they make the playoffs? If you schedule them, you get automatic bonus points. So there's ways right there. I know as a football coach, I would play some tougher teams in the beginning because number one, I would get points out of it because I would finish. I know they're going to finish up here, but I'm also getting bonus points because they're ranked in the top 5, and I'm also getting bonus points because they played in the playoffs the last 2 years. So yeah, what do I have to lose? I may lose, right? But I'm getting rewarded for it. Now some of you, the question is, and I mean, some schools aren't going to play other schools just because it's not safe, and it's not fun. Because if you've never been on the other side of a 68-0 loss, go there. It stinks. I've been there. This would help entice teams to play other teams. There's other ways we can do this. The bonus point system would help. Our Class 1A rural schools are like bunk on that. I know I can move up to Class 5A, and you can put me in a district, right? But there's other ways that we can figure this out. They're not really excited about going from 1A to 5A. Don't blame them, right? 2A is the same way. We do have a few 3A schools that would happily jump into Class 5A and 4A schools. Here's some states that do this already. California, you guys, has developed a new power conference. I've read a lot about it. I don't really understand it. If we came up with a power conference, which I'm not for in our state, we would have to force teams to get into that, and I'm not sure how that looks. I don't know how, because no one's going to raise their hand and go, I'd like to go compete in that one, right, besides like 4 or 5 schools. Colorado, Nebraska I work with quite a bit. Ohio has used the point and seeding system since 1968. West Virginia does this, Wisconsin, North Carolina. Here's the implementation schedule. And again, I want to reiterate that in September, we're going to take this to our Athletic Director Advisory Committee for them to endorse or not endorse, make changes, what do we need to do. Then we'll take it to our Board of Directors soon thereafter for them to do the same thing and either adopt this or kill it. We released the updated regions districts, and I say updated because there's going to be a lot of teams that come back in. Appeals would be due. Appeal to become independent. There's 13 independent schools right now that have indicated to me that they would remain independent. It's up to them. Appeal to move up in classification to be placed in a district. The Class 1A through 4A schools could appeal to move up to be placed into a district. As I said, there's probably 8 to 10 programs that would happily jump at that opportunity, and we would help them do that. This one is a point of contention for a lot of people. Because all the coaches put together all these, well, I don't want to be in that district. I did it, I ain't gonna lie. I tried every mileage system you could possibly imagine to get away from North Marion. And I could never do it. Right? I drive if I walked, right? I submitted, I called, I had my principal call. Couldn't do it. We got over 100 appeals to move districts at the last classification. I was coaching on the field, so I didn't have anything to do with that. Over 100. And all of them had some mileage attached to it. And all that's bunk, and you and I both know it. Most of it. Pretty much all competition oriented. Well, the competition piece, if we go to this, is taken out. Because if you're in a tough district, you're going to be rewarded for it. You're not going to be a 6-4 Palmetto sitting at home. Because you played in a tough district. Right? You're not going to be a 7-3 Dunellen sitting at home. Because you played in a tough district. So there could be 3, there could be 4. Every team in that region could come from that district. So I hope everybody understands what I'm getting at with that. You can send it in, but it's probably going to get denied.
There could be a minimum number of districts.
Yeah. I'll take questions in a minute. Because that's a great question, Coach. One that I hear all the time. How the hell are 3 and then 8? I had to. January, we released the final regions and districts. It's not going to look very much different than what it looks right now, but we need to throw those independents back in there into a region. Then you'll have regional district meetings. Well, why would we want to have a regional meeting? Well, we need to cultivate that meeting in case you guys do decide you want to sit down and create your schedules, or create a schedule, or hash issues out about why you don't want to play a certain school. And let's talk about that. Far too often, we as coaches don't communicate with each other about the issues that we have with the other schools. It's kind of wild. And Craig and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, people send me crap daily. What are you going to do about it? But did you call that coach? No. Well, why? I don't know. Call them. Pick up the phone. Communicate. Talk. You know what? I don't like it that you have 14 transfers. What are you doing over there? Why are you doing that? What's going on? They may not tell you the truth. Right? But why aren't we talking about those things? This is the forum to do that. I encourage every one of you to go back and give your coaches and next year challenge them to be here. Why would you not want to come here? Why would you not want to come here? Right? You can bring your family, you get a free. When I was the head coach, guys, I brought every one of my assistants and I let them bring their families. And the wives were happy the entire football season because Daddy took them, right, to the beach for free for 3 days. Right? And then I'd take them out to dinner one night, the whole staff, do all that deal, and they were happy, man. Then wife wasn't mad on Sunday when we were sitting up there till 9 o'clock at night. Bring them. You don't learn by not getting any better. Why don't we talk about these things? This is the place to do it. Yes, it is. Our coaching profession is being challenged every day. And it's becoming more pointing fingers over here and doing this, and why is that guy doing that? And I heard your quarterback came from here and you recruited him. Why don't y'all talk about those things? Here's an idea. How about you tell a kid that transfers to your school, hey man, why don't you go back? I think it's better for you over there. Well, that's unheard of, right? Because we all get mad, right? We all get mad when we lose kids, but my God, one comes in. Is this one enrolled? Has he signed his papers? Why you say that? My guy say, well, call me. She said, Frank, we got a good one up here. Boy, I come up there, I said, has he signed his papers? His parents signed. Woo, come here. Come here, Charlie. I'm going to put a ball in your hand. I'm going to see how far you can throw it. Right? But boy, I'd be devil mad at that other coach if they transferred. What are they doing over there? We like it when we get them. We get mad when they leave. At some point, we got to open up that elephant in the room. We got to start talking about those issues. Because if we don't, we're going to see the powers, right? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And we don't do something. We got to do something. I'll tell you this, and I'll open up for questions, which is going to be fun. I'm passionate about football in the state of Florida, and I strongly believe we have the best football in the United States. I go to these National Federation meetings, and I'm so blessed to be in the job. I feel like I've worked my whole life to get to where I'm at. This is my dream job. For 8 hours, guys, every day I get to come into the office and talk to football coaches and athletic directors, and I get griped at, and then I get to go watch football practices, and then I get to go to games, and then I get to go do this. And it's awesome. I'm passionate about football in the state of Florida. I encourage you to call me, email me, talk to me. I want what's best for the kids in the state. These people at these National Federation meetings say, man, y'all do this, y'all got this. Frank, y'all's team seems like they travel all over the United States, right? I'm in New York City for a basketball event, which I'm fortunate enough to go to, right? They're asking me about Coco. How's that Coco team? We watched them play last year on ESPN. Are they any good? I don't know. Right? They're always good. How's this team? How's that team? Yeah, they're good. Right? People know and people watch. People know what we do. You're blessed to coach in the best state in America. All right. Go. Who's got questions? All right, that was easy. Y'all have a good day. This is what I do to my kids. Questions, concerns, criticisms. All right, bring it in. Let's go. Yes, sir. Coach Cruz.
First of all, I have to make a correction.
I'm sorry.
You said you run belly, so you're not going to watch that kid see how hard he can throw it.
No, we run belly pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hey, you creep your free safety up because you want to knock another guy in the box and hit the skinny. Right? Now.
No, seriously, I want to commend you for a lot of work you've done.
Thank you.
And the passion you've done it. There's nothing will be perfect.
No.
But me personally, this is not an FAC position, but me personally, I came up when they took nothing but the district champion. Then they had runner-ups. Thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. They had another round of playoffs. And I personally think the runner-up deal has kind of played its way out. I made the playoffs as a wild card last night.
Yes, sir.
And this is exciting. It's going to be exciting. And I think it's time to look at something different and something new and something fun as opposed to we've been doing for the past 20
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it, Coach. Yes, sir. Coach Palmer.
I want to kind of echo, since you and Craig have been with FHSA, I think from the football coaching side, and since I've been involved in coaching, we've got a better relationship probably with you guys. I want to thank you, both of you guys, for kind of spearheading that drive back to the coaching profession.
We're here to serve you guys.
You know, I had a comment.
Sure.
And then, a question. First of all, you know, we're up there in the Panhandle.
Yep.
We were one of the teams you were talking about. You know, I'm a little leery about getting a schedule.
Absolutely.
Okay. One of the things I'm kind of leery, I guess, of is that are we displaced? You talk about the risk of those independent schools, you know, playing against teams in their districts that's far superior, all right, athletically. And then one little concern for our program, and there's several others probably that will face that too, having to play up classification size.
Yes, sir.
Multiple times, are we displacing the risk from those independent schools that were forced to do that?
Sure.
To some others.
I completely understand.
That's just something to think about.
Yeah, can I comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I completely understand what you're saying. I do. I can also share that 50% of the 1A coaches that voted to eliminate districts. Is it going to fit everybody? No. But I think if we come to the table and say, what can I do? What can we do from a point? What can we do to help Class 1A rural schools in your situation? I think we can all come up with a solution to best fix that issue. And I agree with you, Coach, to put a Band-Aid over it is not the answer. So I think that's a great point that I'll take back and think about till 4 in the morning tonight. Are we just creating another issue by pushing our 1A rural schools to play larger schools? And I've looked at all y'all's schedules, you guys, and you know, I like to think that some of those people would play y'all regardless because it's a big game. It's pretty competitive. But you know, the 80 to nothings or the 70 to nothings are probably not. You know, so I understand them. Go ahead.
And I got one more. When you get in your system, when you go to get to the Final Four, are you going to receive those?
Yes.
Everybody.
You would be seeded based on your regular season points.
Based on your regular.
Yes.
You're going to continue through the playoffs, though?
Your region.
Are you going to stop your points?
Yes. Your points would stop week 11. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not. But
Or
what I'm saying is, if I'm a 8 seed, not be the 1, I'm going to get all the bonus points
all right.
and everything.
Something I hadn't thought about. Yeah. Coach Palmer, that's a great point. Maybe we should keep pointing the thing out until we get to the semifinals, and then it's real easy to add up. You know, again, it goes back to the percentages. So, you know, absolutely, that's a great idea. Thank you, Coach. Yes, sir, Coach Thorpe.
This is probably more of a Jacksonville West concern, but
Sure.
you know about the schedule cycle with Alabama and Georgia. If we make this change, just throwing this out there, is there any way to do this in a 1-year cycle? The first time, we're off with Alabama and Georgia.
I told Alabama and Georgia guys that they need to stop and get their cycle right on ours.
Well, we're doing this change, now's the time to do it.
I agree, Coach.
Do it 1 year, see what hiccups you have, make adjustments, and then it's all good.
We'll get pushback because coaches are not going to want to make schedules 2 years in a row. But if we're ever going to do it, probably now is the best time to do that. That decision is made above me. But I absolutely will push for that, as I have been. But I did share with both Tommy Whittle and my counterpart in Alabama, his name is missed right now. I told them that they need to change their cycles to get on ours. They didn't laugh. Yes, sir.
So when are the ADs going to?
September.
And they're going to vote on it, and then.
They'll endorse it or not endorse it. And then we'll send it to the board of directors. I'm not sure which meeting it's going to be, and then they'll vote on it.
I hope it's
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Will all the districts be equal size?
We are going to, that's a great question, and Coach Southern had that same question. The goal is going to be 5 to 7, and it always is 5 to 7. I can tell you, I can't really comment on how that was done in the past because I wasn't here, and that's not a cop-out answer. I promise I don't. But I can tell you that we've looked at a lot of different things, and 5 to 7 would be the goal, with taking into consideration that sometimes travel issues are a major concern, and we'll work to fix that. Sometimes they're not. I don't really understand. Thank you, Coach.
If you go with 4 or 6 and you got even numbers, it sure makes scheduling a little bit easier.
Go with what?
Opposed to 5 and 7. Because you got 4 in a district,
Yeah.
2 district teams playing the same night, and you don't have any off.
Yeah.
I
I agree.
And the second point, since there's no districts in 1 through 5, 4A, and you have these regional meetings, what if Region 2, 1A says, we want to have districts and this is how we want it?
That's up to you.
That would be an option.
I could care less. You come up with whatever 10 games you want. Y'all sit in a room and y'all figure it out.
So if those 17, 18 schools, whatever it is, decided we want districts, although the other 3 regions were not doing it.
Yeah, and here's the cool part is every coach has wanted to create their own district their whole life. So now we're giving you that opportunity. Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. North Carolina, I always keep work and
Sure.
North Carolina. They see it, they point it, but they do it on your non-district schedule.
Yes, sir.
The reason they do that is you pick my district, I don't get to.
Yes, sir.
So now if you're gonna get points based on the teams in my district, and I don't get to schedule those because they're already picked for me, I might have 3 weak teams with losing records that I'm not gonna gain a whole lot of points on.
Absolutely, great point.
And so that's why North Carolina
Yes, sir.
is just to see and point these
Great point.
non-district games.
I'll take that back as well. That's a good point. Thank you.
Second question, we play in a county, we're in a county where our county AD says you're going to play in county schools. Well, I'm the smallest, so he doesn't benefit by playing me. He doesn't get picked at because our county AD says you're going to play our county schools. Again, so it's another, now that doesn't apply to everybody in here.
Sure.
But for Darrell, for Fhsaa, for Nice, they have to play me. St. Augustine has to play me. They don't benefit too much by playing down and having to play. And because I have to play them, it hurts them actually because my record's going to be 5-5 and 6-4 every year because I have to play them. And so now I have a losing or average record that isn't helping me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, sir.
You said week 1 doesn't matter now. But if it goes to where it matters, what if I'm playing a school week 1 who didn't start school till August 20th, and they've had all those extra days to have 2-a-days, and I start school August 5th. So I get no extra practices 2-a-days. So they've had 25 practices, and I've had 10.
We'll cut out 2-a-days.
Huh?
We'll cut out 2-a-days.
You cut out the what?
We'll just cut out 2-a-days.
And then the other
Just
thing is,
kidding.
that's fine. That's fine. Everybody has the same amount of practices.
You understood?
I mean, that's something to think about. The other
Yes, sir.
thing,
Great point. Absolutely. Great point.
I mean, the other thing is I'm having a hard time. So I have all these smaller schools who
Hold on,
don't
Gary.
want to be in a district because they don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs in there. So now we're going to open it up, and they're all going to come in.
We're not doing this for those schools only. There's several smaller schools that are really, really strong that are big proponents of this. Absolutely. There are several strong programs that are in the playoffs every year that are beating this drum every day. I understand what you're saying, and I hear that all the time. Why are we making decisions for those independent schools? Well, we're not, and I don't mind making some decisions for them because they have kids too. I'm not arguing with you. This isn't a decision this isn't something I came up with them in mind or these groups in mind. I try to create a system that best fits everybody, and if our board of directors and our coaches and everybody feels like this is what's best, then that's what we'll do. That's a great point about the 2-a-days and all that, and that's something I want to look into. What you just said, that's a great point. That's good stuff. I appreciate it. Hold on, Coach. Yes, Coach. Mr. Long.
Real quick, that was a great idea. He was talking about the district. Why do the points within the district? If you're going to do 5A, 8A, because you don't control that anyway, just use the non-district. I think it's a great idea, number 1. Number 2, on the 1A, 4A people who choose to move up.
Yes, sir.
Do they are they going to be given the opportunity to choose?
No, sir.
I mean, can they pick 5, 6, 7, 8, depending on geographic?
We will work with them to do what best fits them geographically and
And then you will communicate with the people.
Absolutely.
They would like to join.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come back to the independent thing. We're a 2A school, the only public one in 2A.
Yep.
Bringing them back in, if they're not, like for us to build a schedule, we have to play independence right now. How's the point system play if we into this and we still have to play independence to build a schedule?
Whatever their
To be enrollment's like an out-of-state school?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Question, go through. Hold on.
With the categories, obviously, you'll be put in the category depending on what your record was at the end of the previous year.
No. At the end of the season, you'll be placed in one of these four, based on what you're into the season. So if you finish 10-0, you're a category 1 team. So everybody that played you and lost to you is going to get those jobs. Yes. Question. Coach Lawrence.
That's not really a question, just something that you may want to think about too, is being for a school, fine schedule, to play a higher school. The only problem I see with that is if the higher schools are in districts, we can't go play those because they're playing district games, whereas certain leagues.
Understood.
that-
I thought about that.
Something to
Yep.
think about.
I've lost sleep over that. Yes, sir, Coach Book.
Frank, is the assumption that a team that has a better record better than a team that doesn't have a better record? So you were saying, you looked up there and you were pointing to 2-8 teams. What if a 2-8 team played a bunch of great teams and lost a bunch of close games, and then you have a team that plays 10 scrubs and 7-3? So I'm just wondering, is that the assumption that we're dealing with here? That seems to be a big factor.
These guys right here, Coach Robinson, played the bull schedule because I made it. Trinity Catholic.
Yeah.
No one will play. They had one they lost to a category 4 team, week 4. They would have made the playoffs over here. They finished 4 and 6 because they played a bull schedule. They played a tough schedule. And then one of the teams that they played ended up with a 2-8 record that they thought was going to be better, but they weren't. But anyways, to answer your question, one bad loss against a category 4 team cost them a trip. Yeah.
What about with those guys, Frank? I know because
Yes, sir.
Trinity Prep was the runner-up, so I assume Trinity Catholic beat them.
You got
So, I mean,
I know.
it's not perfect.
I know it's not.
See Trinity Prep. What was the score they gave you?
it was close. It was really close.
Okay.
Just a comment, like the Nebraska system, we have it where my senior year, we were 10-0 defending state champions, and we were the 3 seed. And there were 2 teams above us with a loss, but they had a tougher schedule. We had to play on their field. They beat the shit out of us because they were a better team, but you're gonna find weird seeds.
Yeah. Don't blame him. Okay. All right. I appreciate it. My time. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Hold on, guys.
Would the rankings be solely on the one poll, or you would have?
That's an idea. Yeah. 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 I know that's a bad answer, but we just had that idea yesterday. I came up with that idea like months ago and then kind of thought, I don't know what poll to use. So then we brought it back to try and, we thought about it to try and entice some bigger programs, some 4As and 5As to play the smaller schools. The power. Yes, sir.
Frank, I don't just think one of us play the 2A. We get
Negative.
we get
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Hey, if any of you guys, if your cheerleading coaches ever have any questions, this is Kelly Set. She's over cheerleading in the state of Florida, so y'all can direct them to her. You're welcome. Appreciate you guys.